What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. Today we're going to be showing off Malachi Sparks' second place Lucario and Melmetal-GX deck from the San Diego Regional Championships. Very cool and unique deck. It uses Omastar's Fossil Bind to lock up items from your opponent's side of the field, and also make Lopunny and Jigglypuff to take big one-hit knockouts. It relies on the Welder engine to get energy into play, and then also metal energies to launch big attacks with Lucario and Melmetal. Full Metal Wall GX, a very powerful GX attack in this standard metagame, being able to strip the defending Pokemon of all energies attached to it, and it reduces damage dealt to Lucario and Melmetal by 30 when combined with your Metal Frying Pans. That is a lot of damage reduction. You get minus 60 with the GX attack and the Metal Frying Pan, and when you take into consideration that Psychic Resistance is very good, your opponent's Pokemon could be doing minus 80 damage to your Lucario and Melmetal, which is very, very strong. We use the Welder engine to get energy into play and draw cards, as well as Green's Exploration to search whatever cards you want out of your deck. It very heavily relies on Reset Stamp and Power Plant at the end of the game to make it so that your opponent doesn't really draw anything. What I've found is that this deck is very strong. However, it does struggle against the Garchomp and Giratina Tag Team GX deck that we saw Justin Bakari was able to win San Diego with. So even though it does struggle against the regional winning deck from San Diego, which we did see play out in real time at the San Diego Regional Championships, it is still a very strong deck and definitely capable of taking a lot of wins, which hopefully I'll be able to show you in this gameplay. Full Metal Wall GX is definitely one of my favorite GX attacks to use. It feels so good to have that much control over the match ahead, being able to target down whatever tag team Pokemon or big Pokemon your opponent is trying to build up with cards like Custom Catcher and Great Catcher, and then just remove all of the energy from them with your GX attack and giving you that nice damage buff. It's very, very valuable, and it gives you a lot of control in the match. It feels like you're using Cold Crush GX, which a lot of control decks will utilize, that Articuno GX. It feels like that, except you get to attack as well. One of the best ways to control what your opponent can do is taking precise knockouts, right? So the Lucario Melmetal deck definitely kind of registers as a control deck. You've got the Greens engine. You can reset stamp your opponent to control their hand size. You can use Power Plant to control the abilities that they can use. You can set up Omastar to make it so that they can't play any items. And then you also get to control how much damage is dealt to you with cards like the Frying Pan and also effects like the Full Metal Wall GX. So control was definitely the name of the game at the San Diego Regional Championships, with the Lucario Melmetal deck and Garchomp and Giratina Tag Team GX finishing in the finals. Now this matchup is sketchy. We can turn off my opponent's weakness, hitting for weakness with the Frying Pan, but that being said, they only need to attack twice in order to win. If I can set up my Omastar, though, then we can get away with it. I do not believe that I have my Rare Candy in deck. I think that is the missing piece, and I don't have it in my hand. So yes, we are missing the Rare Candy, which is not good, and definitely sketchy. This is sketch. So we'll see what we can do playing against this baby Blacephalon deck. This deck can beat fire decks. It is much better against the GX-oriented fire decks, I will say, in my experience. But we'll see what we can do here. You never want to count yourself out. So I've already got a healthy amount of fire energy in my hand, I think, or, energy. I think I'm going to Cynthia Caitlin away the Faba. It's always tough to pick an initial card to discard, especially playing a deck like this. We've got a handful of Pokemon. That is just wonderful. And I'll go Metal Energy on the active. Next turn, I can Energy Spinner and get myself a Fire, and then Welder for 2. I'm only going to bench one other Lucario Melmetal. My opponent certainly could get the turn 1 knockout on this thing, which is not great, right? Especially if they started the Welder Double Fire, which it looks like they did. So if they rip a card like a Fiery Flint or something like that, then they're going to get as many energy as they need. Let's go. Okay, they don't have it like that. They don't have any other Pokemon, actually. So we might get away with this. Let's see. We've got Energy Spinner. If I just find a Metal Energy, it's game over. I hate to welder both these fires onto the active, but I think I have to shoot my shot. And if we just draw into a Metal, that's game. So let's do it. All right, we're going to welder both fires onto the active. Do we find the game-winning Metal Energy? We do not. Sad. So I think we do have to full Metal Wall GX. It's, I mean, and just hope they don't have it again. So we're going to go here. Might as well bench this Fossil. And we've got the full Metal Wall. Hopefully they don't knock me out this turn. I still did not find my Frying Pan. They need barely any energy to piece this together. It felt bad to use Steel Fist. Oh my gosh, they've got the Welder Double Fire again. Oh no. Please. Please, please. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Hoping for a brick. Please, please brick. This is so sketch. And we don't even have the rare candy, so we can't get the unidentified fossil evolved up. They've got the fire crystal. That almost does it. Only 2 fire out of the discard, so they have to attach 1. And do they have... Oh, no. 270. Perfect. They don't have anything else going on their side of the field, though. That is horrible. I can greens and reset stamp them, but I'm not really doing a whole lot otherwise. I have to greens for like... Oh, we top deck the fire. That's actually really good because I can greens for the reset stamp. Oh, geez. All right, reset stamp to limit them to 3. And then we kind of just need the Frying Pan as well to block weakness so that they have to find a lot here. And then we can start using Steel Fist to accelerate Metal Energy into play. And we have to hope that this stamp really gets us there. That's it. I mean, if I find a Metal Energy, we are going to be closing this game out. I mean, he's on a 1-turn clock. We get to accelerate the metal from the deck. And if I find another metal off this Cynthia and Caitlin, the game is up next turn. However, my opponent could get enough energy to one-hit KO. Oh my gosh, the Fiery Flint certainly gets them very close. So we've got our fingers crossed. Oh my gosh. And the Fire Crystal, no way! That's literally, that's it. That's game. Fireball Circus for game. I mean, yeah, we did our best, Chad. That stamp did nothing. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, yeah, when you're hot, you're hot. 1 Blacephalon. I could not beat 1 Blacephalon. Anyways, this deck is pretty good. We're going to run it back and see if we can have a little bit of a stronger showing in this next game. I would not argue under any circumstances that that is a favorable matchup, though I did feel like we should have won that game. I mean, I had multiple opportunities to win. Literally, if they just don't get Fiery Flint, Fire Crystal there. Those are the perfect 2 cards off a reset stamp to 3 to get them the win. So, unfortunate to say the least. But this deck does have a lot of good things going for it if you don't play against Baby Blacephalon. I really like the Omastar being able to turn off items against decks like Dollstall as well is very good. And other, control decks like Pidgey really rely on items and setting up a big bench. So the Omastar does put in a lot of work against many decks, even though it does turn off your own greens exploration. Still a valuable asset. We have not been able to draw into a basic Pokemon, unfortunately, so hopefully this next hand nets us one. It's also cool to be able to play Lusamine before it ends up rotating and is banned forever, since Lusamine is not legal in expanded format. We've got ourselves a nice playable hand here with the greens, and we're going first. We'll see what my opponent is playing. Looks like they may have a fire deck as well. So back-to-back fire decks, but I've got Metal Frying Pan in the hand, so I think we're going to be okay. We'll We'll see. Green's Reshiram. Yikes. This could be sketch. But we will carry on. I think we need a turn 1 attachment. The power plants are not going to be a big deal. The Omastar probably not going to be that big of a deal as well, since they will not be benching a whole lot of Pokemon. It's tough. We're greens, you know, the welder definitely feels good. We kind of want to welder into a costume catcher or something like that. We need energy, so we have to get like a Fiery Flint. And then welder's probably good as well. If they really like pop off though, it could be troubling. If they get, you know, turn 1, flare starter 3 energy here, and then turn 2, welder double fire, and then they just GX me, that's bad. So we may need to go get Tag Call too, but I feel like I kind of need both of these. So let's get the Tag Call. I'll go Fiery Flint Tag Call. And then I think I'm happier doing this. We'll just Tag Call for Cynthia and Caitlin and Lucario and Melmetal. Just fine. And then I'm probably not going to need these power plants. Yep. And this way, I just have access to cards and a bench Pokemon, so they don't get benched out right away. If I go for the welder play early, then we could put ourselves in a compromising situation. If my opponent, like I said, gets turn 1, 3 energy on the Reshiram, turn 2, 6 energy KO, and I lose the game. Here, I give myself an opportunity to potentially stamp them. But as we see, they actually just, yeah, they got it all turn 1. They're going to have welder, double fire, and they're going to flare starter. So 5 energy on the Reshiram, and I am very pleased that I spread my my resources out here and did not go welder, you know, onto the Lucario Melmetal, hoping to draw another Pokemon next turn. Now, I can very easily just remove that energy with my GX attack, so I would be very pleased to do that. In fact, if I Pokégear into a greens, I could do it right now. And there she is. So we can go greens for Great Catcher, or double custom catcher, really. Since I don't necessarily want to discard anything in this hand, I can go greens, double custom catcher, bring up the Charizard. I should put my pans on. I don't know why I didn't do that last turn, but yeah, these guys should be wearing some pans. So there they go. We're going to double custom catcher up this guy and just go for the full metal wall GX. Now is the time. That's like way too much energy for you to have on your Reshiram. So like I said, we do get to control quite a bit with this deck, and this is how we beat a fire deck, is by getting the frying pans out, controlling the amount of energy they have on their guy, and then hopefully starting to swing relatively soon. We can Steel Fist this next turn while manually attaching to a bench Lucario Melmetal, using Cynthia and Caitlin. We can get a supporter back from the discard pile, and we will be stabilized more or less. Now, they only get to take a one-hit KO on my Lucario Melmetal once, and it has to be with a Double Blaze GX. Other than that, Flare Strike is not going to be taking a one-hit knockout. With the damage reduction of the GX attack and the Frying Pan, that's minus 60. So Flare Strike will only be doing 170 damage. And then if I use Mallow and Lana, I heal off 120 of that, which is very strong. You see, they're going in with High Heat Blast. I mean, that should be dealing 220 damage with weakness. Instead, no weakness. It only deals 50. That's fine with me. Now, we did say with Flare Strike, they can deal 170, so I do have to kind of watch out, but I'm safe to use Cynthia and Caitlin this turn to draw some more cards, so we're going to do that. And discard a Fire Energy, I think, in order to get the greens back from the deck. We're going to be attaching, I think, to the bench, and using Steel Fist feels good. However, I think I want to attach a fire to the bench so that I have the option to heavy impact next turn if I want to. So that seems good. Yeah, we're just going to Steel Fist for 50. and next turn I can start using Heavy Impact. We are going to be under fire just a bit, though. I mean, we're going to have quite a bit of damage on us, so Mallow and Lana could be useful. Looks like they're not going for a Welder this turn, which is good. I don't have to worry about a 6 energy Reshiram and Charizard just yet. Once they do take a knockout, though, then we are going to be, in Stamp Town. We are going to reset stamp them to 3, and I am kind of allowing them to take the first knockout. That's going to be the way that we kind of jockey for position here. They're going to knock out one of my Lucario Melmetals. Hopefully I can get some damage to stick on this Reshiram by the time I do that. And the hope is that they can't build up a second one. Like, this kind of is their second Reshiram Charizard. I'm hoping that they have trouble building up a third Reshiram and Charizard, if that makes any sense, since we already removed energy from this one. And it looks like we have green, so I can bring up this Reshiram Charizard and hit into it. They do probably play a healthy amount of healing cards, though. If they've got Welder Double Fire, that could be bad. So let's Pokégear first. The timer is not going to be my friend. So I just had to throw that Pokégear to give myself a little bit more time to think. I don't think that this is a Mallow and Lana turn. That feels kind of bad. So I feel like I need to stay the course, maybe Steel Fist again, attach greens. We'll go over there. So I'm going to greens for this and probably a Mount Coronet. Mallow and Lana being the only draw card in my hand, bad. So actually we cannot be so greedy. Maybe we get the Tag Call and the Mount Coronet. Feels good. That way I can just go get more draw cards. Cynthia and Caitlin. I wanted to get the Mount Coronet to just counter the Giant Hearth. I don't know that there's anything in my hand that I necessarily want to discard, so that's fine. I think we're going to attach the metal here. And then I am kind of anticipating this thing getting knocked out, like I said. So I'm probably going to play the Mount Coronet, make it a little bit more difficult for my opponents to target me down. And then, target me down with a 6 energy Charizard. And then we're just going to Steel Fist one more time. So that is probably fine. Trying to, try very much to get myself in a position where I don't have all my, eggs in one basket. It's very difficult because we know that this Charizard or this Lucario Melmetal has a chance to potentially go down this next turn. I would not like it to. If they welder both energy here to the Reshiram Charizard, I'm in a little bit of trouble. They can just manually retreat and knock this thing out. Then I need to reset stamp them and hit into it, which is problematic. Yeah, so here's the Double Blaze GX. We knew that was going to happen. My Mount Coronet sticks, though, so that's good. But I don't have a Welder in my hand to go in with the Heavy Impact, and we know we're going to get Flare Striked this next turn. So that feels very bad. We're going to get these two back. And then we could Tag Call, get myself Cynthia and Caitlin. We're definitely going to reset stamp. We know that as well. Let's see. We got Tag Call and Pokégear. I might as well Tag Call for probably these guys. I think we already have Mallow and Lana in my hand, which we're probably going to use next turn. And the Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff does give me a pivot if I have to try and heal with Mallow and Lana, so that's good. And then we can Pokégear. I think there might just be no healing myself, or no chance that I heal myself enough. Let's go with Pokégear. We have a greens. I also have a Lusamine and a Mallow and Lana. I could greens for the pieces I need to set up Omastar. I think that's probably fine. So let's go here. And we can... Yeah, I mean, I'm about to get hit. So this really does hurt. This really hurts. Yeah, we can get this. and that. And then next turn, we can... I mean, they may not play into it, though. If we have 2 and 2, they'd have to bench another Pokemon. So I guess like the main thought is that I can Mallow and Lana into it and stall for a turn. Right? Which is fine. It's better than giving up this Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff. So I think that I am just going here, and we're going to Steel Fist, and we're going to do 50 damage. It hurts, but I don't really know how else that we are going to be able to deal with this beast here with 6 energy on it, unless we, Mallow and Lana some of this damage off. They're about to Flare Strike. We'll have to switch into the Fossil. They can knock the Fossil out. That's fine. I just need them to not heal too much. If they bench one more thing, we're cool. I did get another Reshiram Charizard off that. Then we get to actually item lock them with Omastar, which is kind of neat. They may just be thinning it out of the deck, though. Looks like they're discarding a Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff to get a greens back. So once they do hit, they'll hit for 170. I can Mallow and Lana, put that back to 50, and put something else into the active. That'll get knocked out, hopefully, as so long as they don't gust my Lucario Melmetal back out. So that is kind of the hope here. This guy can't retreat, but you can discard it from the active. Now I actually am going to be setting up item lock, so that's kind of interesting. Only for a turn, though. So we do know that if we Mallow and Lana this to the bench, then there is going to be no gusting happening at all. I can't really afford to... It's got a 2 retreat. This thing cannot retreat. You can discard it from play, though. So let's Mallow and Lana. I think we're going to switch and discard. We're going to discard Welder and Mega Lopunny. It's fine. Now, they cannot hit this turn. So, unless they Outrage, which like they're not really going to be doing too much with Outrage. So we're going to Rare Candy this. And probably just attach for turn. And then I could theoretically retreat the Omastar and hit next turn if they can't knock me out. Now, they did just use Flare Strike, so they may decide to like retreat this thing or whatever. But they are under item lock, so they can greens for some stuff. But they can't really, gust up my Lucario Melmetal or anything like that. Next turn, I can Cynthia and Caitlin, and we can actually get the Mallow and Lana back from the discard pile, which could be very good for us because then it would give me another chance to heal. I'm not sure that I can heal enough at this point, but we're certainly going to try. Got Tag Call and Cynthia and Caitlin, so let's see what we can do. I've got the Mount Coronet, so I don't really mind. Yeah, we could just get the Mallow and Lana. And then I can retreat this, get the 2 metals back with the Mount Coronet, and I can Cynthia and Caitlin, the 2 metals back. Or not Cynthia, Mount Coronet, the 2 metals back, and then Cynthia and Caitlin. I guess I could fully heal up. No, we're fine. Yeah, we're gonna do this. And we're gonna discard one of these. Probably get the Mallow and Lana back. I feel like I'm gonna need that. And draw some cards. So I've got Welder, got Energy Spinner. We could just heavy impact to kind of have to do that. We know we're gonna be eating a Flare Strike this next turn. Then, I mean, yeah, we're going to be eating a Flare Strike. They're dealing 230 damage. If they heal this thing, I mean, I'm just in a world of pain. I don't know that there's any way we fight our way out of this one. This would be epic for sure if we do. I mean, the entirely fire deck. There's only one colorless Pokemon in this deck. Other than that, it is completely fire-based. Yikes. So we can get the energy back. I think we're going to Mallow and Lana. There's not really any energy in the deck that I want, so we're going to Mallow and Lana, and we're going to switch these. We have to. Have to heal. And Mount Coronet, get 2 metals back. Because if I don't heal, that Volcanion will just knock me out. So we have to do that. And then I think I have to... I can let them have one more turn of having like a pretty big hand. And then next turn, reset stamp to 2. Seems fine. I will probably attach here just to attach. And then next turn, I'm going to reset stamp. Because they have a pretty big hand, but they don't have access to items. I think that's the biggest thing because of the Omastar. So next turn, we hopefully take this knockout with our Lucario Melmetal. I'm attaching to the Omastar just in case they, for some reason, do not knock out the Omastar. That way, I do have the option to retreat. And it looks like, yes, they are going to take this knockout with Volcanion. So that does put some pressure on me. I kind of need to find my Gust to take out this Reshiram Charizard. I could also potentially stamp them out of it. So, well, or stamp them out of, yeah, because they could just outrage me for knockout with that thing. So that is problematic. We do get to see 3 cards with Welder, though, so maybe we find Great Catcher. I think I prized my other custom catcher, so it's not really an option. I don't have any other Pokemon to pivot to, so I cannot Mallow Lana again. Yes, I do not believe we found it. And they could outrage for, what, 230 minus, what, it's still 170, and that's just enough for a knockout. So I think we're out, unfortunately. Unfortunate. Who would have thought that our Lucario Melmetal deck is not good against fire decks? Back to back. I mean, we did okay. I think we were pretty close here. I just needed to be able to find the gusts to... What's going on here? They've got greens anyway. I mean, all they need to do is outrage. So... oh, it looks... They're going to sauce me up with a Flare Strike with a fresh one. Sure. Sure. Gotta appreciate the nice little saucing there. That's great. I think... I'm not sure if I even have the gas to be able to, you know, to be able to win. Even if I take this knockout, find the Great Catcher, take that knockout, go to 3 prizes. Finishing off this final Reshiram Charizard was going to be pretty much a nightmare. So that's cool. 0-2. Let's try one more. We're going to triple down here and see if we can find a maybe non-fire deck to play against with our metal deck. That would be great. But that being said, it is a... that is something to consider when playing the Lucario Melmetal decks. You might just play against some fire decks that can do one-hit KO damage. I mean, any deck that can one-hit KO your Lucario Melmetals, you're going to be having a bad time. That's Baby Blacephalon. Reshiram Charizard is going to be pretty tough because they can just use that Double Blaze GX and wipe one out completely. And, you know, GGN-GX is very good against this deck because they can just remove threats from the table with GGN, even though they don't take the prizes. It doesn't matter. The fact that they just get to remove, remove your Pokemon from the table completely with GGN is just so good. There's a Macargo GX in the Mewtwo deck. If they can use the Macargo GX, they can knock you out. You know, against Mewtwo, you do have Power Plant, so that does help with that considerably, but can still be sketchy. But there is a lot that this deck has going for it, and I think it does carry with it a pretty favorable Arceus Dialga Palkia matchup, which was definitely popular at the San Diego Regional Championships. So we'll take that free dub. You know, it doesn't count for the video though. We're gonna still do one more. Though I do appreciate, you know, the nice little win streak of 1 on my account now and some points. That's great. Another one. Uno mas, as I usually say. I'll take this moment to shout out Full Grip Games. Make sure to check out fullgripgames.com for all your trading card game singles. Absolutely love this store. Also, if you have not heard yet, we've got fullgripcodes.com. We have instant PTCGO code delivery on fullgripcodes.com. All of our standard sets are 45 cents or less right now for PTCGO codes. So make sure to check out fullgripcodes.com. I'm just now stocking up a huge amount of Cosmic Eclipse codes to that site. Supporting Full Grip Games directly supports Tricky Jim. So if you like watching Tricky Jim, please support Full Grip Games. It makes a huge difference. Looks like we are playing against Pidgeotto Control. So this could be sketch is the word that I'm looking for. And which has been every single match that I have said so far. So yeah, we're gonna go for greens, and we're gonna try and set up the Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff. I believe would be very good. And you know, we could greens for the. Well, I guess I might as well see if any of the pieces are prized, right? We go in there with greens turn 1, and I can always Cynthia and Caitlin for the greens back. I don't really think that I need to aggress too much as far as like taking quick knockouts. That's not really the key here. And the Omastar is in the deck. So everybody's in the deck, which is cool. So I like that. We could just get the Fossil and, to be honest, just another greens. And then I can get the turn 2 item lock. So we're going to do that. Bench the Fossil. I've got everything that I need for turn 2, so that's cool. And we're just going to attach the fire, attach the frying pan. And then next turn, we're going to lock it up so that they can't play any items. Hopefully that's enough to get us there. Might not be, because you know, Pidgeotto does have some tricks up its sleeve. They're going to be able to Cold Crush GX me at some point, which will give them a big advantage. It's not like playing the Garchomp and Giratina deck where we get to force them to take prizes so that we can use our baby Blacephalon or something like that. We cannot control the prizes with the Lucario Melmetal deck, which makes it, I guess it's a little bit different as far as control decks are concerned. You know, Pidgeotto control goes behind on prizes naturally just by letting the opponent take prizes. This deck, it kind of more or less does the same. It usually will come from behind with a full metal wall, reset stamp, things like that, to be able to negate what the opponent is doing. And in hindsight, maybe against the Reshiram and Charizard deck, I should have saved my full metal wall for after my opponent took the first knockout with Double Blaze GX. But then they would not have used Double Blaze GX. They would have just used Flare Strike to take the first knockout. So it's pretty tough. Not exactly an easy deck to play, that's for sure. So we're going to lock up we're going to lock up all this stuff right now. And I've got Cynthia and Caitlin and Welder in my hand. So I've got some cards that can draw cards, which is good, without using greens, because I'm not going to be able to use greens for the rest of the game. Turn 2 Omastar. And then we're just going to start using Steel Fist. We can get... I don't think there's any point in using Full Metal Wall GX. Absolutely not. So I might as well just go here, Steel Fist, accelerate a Metal Energy from the deck onto myself, and then they shouldn't really have any easy way to remove energy from my Lucario Melmetal this turn. Now, if I am able to find power plants, then I could make it so that they can't switch that Articuno GX into the active position as well, which would be very strong for me. Looks like they actually are trying to keep themselves from item lock by not benching anything else. They just have a Rangaroo and Pidgeotto, which is very funny. And I think that that is intentional on their part. I just assumed that they did not have a very strong setup, and that... Okay, here's the other Pidgey. They now are going to bench more things. And yes, here's the Articuno GX. So I'm getting Cold Crush right now, which is brutal. But that was going to come no matter what I did. So in hindsight, maybe we attach the fire so that I can welder this, but that's all good. I'm not terribly concerned. We're going to Cynthia and Caitlin, and we can hopefully get some stuff going here. We cannot welder, so we have to Cynthia and Caitlin. And we got a fire, so that's good. Still threatening a knockout next turn. I could Full Metal Wall GX. There's no point in doing that. If I Welder and draw into... Nah, no, I can't threaten to knock out next turn. I could threaten Steel Fist next turn, but that's about all we got. Cool, so I'm going to pass. Now, they might have a hard time moving this unless they got the Tate and Liza in their hand. So I do expect this to kind of chill here for a couple of turns. And then I can Welder next turn. I don't think it's worth it to Welder next turn. We'll probably use Lusamine or something like that. Lusamine, bring back. Yeah, bring some things back. Cynthia and Caitlin, because we're just going to Steel Fist. So that makes sense. But we might want to save our Lusamine for getting the Mount Coronet back. That actually seems way better. So then I think Welder this turn is the play. I'm going to Welder or Fire onto the Lucario Melmetal. And then we've got another Fire, and I can just use Steel Fist for 100. And then I like saving the Lusamine because we're going to use the Mount Coronet to get the metals back, which will be very valuable eventually for us. Do 100 damage there. See if there's any metal energy in my deck that we can go grab. And it looks like, yes, Boogie Ba is giving me the frowny face. They are not pleased. And they cannot use custom catchers to bring up my Omastar either. So they are not going to be able to stall out this Lucario Melmetal or this Lucario Melmetal deck. Usually gusting up the Omastar or gusting up a suboptimal retreater, something like that. Somebody who has a high retreat cost is how these Pidgey control decks are able to win matches. Just gusting something up, using Crushing Hammer to remove all of the energy off of the attacker, as well as Cold Crush GX. Now, we knew Cold Crush GX was going to come out at some point. That was a guarantee. At this point, though, I'm not even worried about bringing up the Articuno GX. It's kind of just eating up space on my opponent's side of the field. And my opponent has not used, doesn't have a lot of Pidgeottos or anything like that set up. They're just going to start using resource management, but they still have 33 cards in deck. So they have not really tapped that bottom of their deck yet, but they are going to throw the Misty and Lorelei back in the deck, so that will be problematic, actually. So we do need to think about our game plan as far as how are we going to deal with another Articuno GX eventually. Can't use greens. We could Tag Call again. I think I want to get a big hand, so we are going to get these things out of the deck. And then we're going to Cynthia and Caitlin, probably discarding this other Lucario Melmetal. And just drawing more cards. We can get the Welder back. And we got double Custom Catcher. So if I want to knock out the Articuno right now, I can. I think for now, I just want to take out the Oranguru with the energy on it, though. I don't think that they're going to find that Misty and Lorelei they just put on the bottom of their deck next turn and use it. So pretty confident that just taking out the Orangurus will be useful and will help. But that eventually that Articuno is going to have to go. So that is something that I have my eye on. We'll kind of see how their board position develops. By taking out the Articuno, we do kind of escalate the game too. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They can't reset stamp me. I just really like having the custom catcher as an option. Oh, are they going to do it? They got the Rosa, and they can Rosa for the... I mean, that would be... I guess they could get themselves the Pokemon anyway, even if I had gusted up the Articuno and knocked it out. Then they just would have had it. And here's the Misty and Lorelei. So then they could use the Misty and Lorelei. That's insane. I did not think that they were going to get that Misty and Lorelei out of the bottom of their deck already. So this is going to be very challenging. With the ability to reuse that Cold Crush GX turn after turn. I still have not found a power plant yet either, so I can't even turn this off. That is the hardest part about getting the Articuno GX into the active. And it looks like they don't have... Which piece do they not have? They did not go for it this turn. So I think I just need to gust up the Articuno and take care of it now. Maybe they decided they needed a resource management one more turn. Oh, they can't switch it into the active. They cannot Legendary Scent again. So they did not have the switch card. They had everything they needed, but not the switch card. Well, I am definitely afraid of Articuno GX at this point. So I think we are going to reset Stamp because we know they have the Misty and Lorelei in their hand. And we are going to double Custom Catcher up the Articuno and just take that out of the equation. Hopefully make it a little bit more difficult for my opponent to deal with. Yeah, we're just going to heavy impact. I don't think that there's any supporters that I needed to play. Like I said, they cannot reset stamp me. They can Mars, so I kind of want to keep a big hand just in case they Mars. I'm just thinking, yeah. I mean, my hand's not going anywhere. I don't have any shuffle draw cards or anything like that. But if they do find Rosa again, if they find like the Surge, Rosa combo again, they could put together a Cold Crush GX play, which could be kind of scary to deal with, especially since they already have the water energy. I mean, Legendary Ascent, they could just move the water energy to it. But we do have Welder still. So here comes Surge. What do they got? Here's Mars. That hurts, not going to lie. That does hurt, because if they bench another Articuno, I can't bring it up. And they cannot put a skateboard on their Jirachi right now either, which is very good for us. So when Jirachi's active, he kind of is staying active. Now we'll see. You know, that's kind of why I'm holding on to this Mount Coronet, just because I know that's like my only energy recovery in this deck. We really do not have a lot available to us. But the Mount Coronet with the Lusamine is the only way that I'm going to be able to recover any energy back to my hand in case we get Cold Crushed again. So we are kind of prepping for that. And I don't think it's worth it to attach or do anything else. Maybe build up a second one on the bench. I mean, then I would just need a switch to be able to win. I think that actually could be ideal. Because that way, if they do Cold Crush me, like, cool, I just use Switch or Mallow Lana and it's game. I think that's probably fair. Because they can't really gust anything. So we're totally fine with that. I'm going to Welder onto the bench. And we're not breaking our own item lock or anything like that. Got a Metal Energy. And we're just going to probably... I mean, in case of Mars, I don't want them to, like, Mars away all my stuff. So we're just going to continue chugging away. And we should be able to seal up the game with this second Lucario Melmetal, since they can't reset stamp. That's, like, the big thing. There's no N or anything like that. This deck does not play Judge, I don't think. So it doesn't have any way to judge my hand down the low. The Omastar is a real pain for the Pidgeotto deck to deal with, as we're seeing. They can't control my top deck with Chip Chip, Ice Axe. They have to set up Pidgeottos in order to draw through their deck. And, you know, the whole deck really kind of clunks up with the Omastar in play. They can't play a Skateboards down. They can't Crushing Hammer. All the things that the Pidgeotto deck wants to do every single turn, the Omastar pretty much stops. And that item lock is going to stay established because they have to have cards in their hand. That Lusamine, losing that Lusamine is troubling. I'm not going to lie. That is a little bit sad, but I think we're still chilling. I can just go and, you know, we're going to, I don't know if I have an energy left in deck. Like another one. Yeah, we have one fire. That's fine. That's all I need, really. Because then just attach the fire energy to the Lucario Melmetal here on my bench, and then no matter what, I should be able to have, should just have game. I think we're going to play the power plant down so that they can't switch their guy into the active. And then we're just going to heavy impact And all I need for game next turn is to just take a knockout. So this should stop the Articuno GX from using its legendary Ascent. Hopefully, that's probably the reason they did not play down Power Plants, because they know they're actually the only ones with an ability worth using in this deck. Not me. I do not have an ability to use, so that was heads up play on their part by not playing down Power Plant, because they know that I don't play a GX ability, but they do, so they want to be able to use theirs. And now they are just short of being able to use their items. They have 4 Pokemon to play. If they put an Articuno down, they're even further away from being able to use items. And they probably do not have a Pokemon that will be able to withstand a heavy impact. They are giving me the frowny face. I will give them the smiley face. They have Rosa, but no Misty and Lorelei. They got Articuno. They got Crushing Hammer. I mean, the ability for this deck to use Cold Crush GX multiple times in a game is completely nuts. That is wild. The Articuno GX does not work. They have to resource management, and I've got heavy impact for game. So that is just going to be it. Well played by my opponent, but yes, the Omastar is just very, very good. As we can see, single-handedly won me that matchup with nothing my opponent can do to stop this Lucario Melmetal deck. So Lucario Melmetal, very good deck. Obviously, fire decks and decks that can one-hit KO your Lucario Melmetals are problematic. I think compared, directly with the Garchomp and Giratina deck that was able to finish first at San Diego, Garchomp and Giratina is the better control deck. But Lucario Melmetal is super cool, and it was really neat to see John Mastowie's original, top 16 Lucario Melmetal deck kind of take into that next level with these cards from Cosmic Eclipse. So very cool deck. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to check out FullGripGames.com for all your trading card game singles, as well as FullGripCodes.com, like I said, for instant PTCGO code delivery. It's a great resource for players who like to play on PTCGO. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Check me out on Twitch. Twitch.tv/TrickyJim, where we stream live every single weekday. It is a ton of fun. Make sure to drop the channel a follow on Twitch so you can stay up to date on when I go live every day. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one. Peace.